Imagine standing on a quiet beach in Chile as the ground begins to tremble beneath your feet. Far across the ocean, in Japan, a volcano rumbles to life. In Alaska, snow-covered peaks hide restless magma chambers. And in Indonesia, entire islands were born from fire erupting out of the sea. These events may seem isolated, scattered across thousands of miles, but they are all connected by an invisible horseshoe-shaped boundary that encircles the Pacific Ocean. This dramatic chain of volcanoes and earthquake zones is known as the Ring of Fire. The name sounds mythical, almost apocalyptic, as if it belongs in a fantasy novel. Yet it is rooted in real geology, immense tectonic forces, and centuries of observation. So why is it called the Ring of Fire? And what makes this region so uniquely powerful? Let's explore, right here, on History of Simple Things. The term Ring of Fire refers to a vast zone of intense seismic and volcanic activity that outlines much of the Pacific Ocean basin. If you traced it on a map, it would form a rough arc stretching from the southern tip of South America up along the west coasts of North and Central America, across the Aleutian Islands of Alaska, down through Japan, the Philippines, and Indonesia, and finally to New Zealand. It is not a perfect circle, but the curved shape resembles a ring wrapped around the Pacific. The fire comes from the sheer number of active volcanoes concentrated in this region. In fact, about 75% of the world's active and dormant volcanoes are found along this belt, making it the most volcanically active area on Earth. The reason this ring exists lies deep beneath the surface of the planet. Earth's outer shell, known as the lithosphere, is broken into massive slabs called tectonic plates. These plates are constantly moving, though only at the speed of fingernails growing. Around the edges of the Pacific Ocean, several of these plates collide, slide past one another, or dive beneath one another in a process called subduction. When an oceanic plate is forced beneath a continental plate, it sinks into the mantle, where heat and pressure cause parts of it to melt. This melting generates magma, which rises through cracks in the crust and can erupt as volcanoes. Over millions of years, these repeated subduction events have created long chains of volcanic mountains, island arcs, and deep ocean trenches, all forming the fiery boundary we call the Ring of Fire. But volcanoes are only part of the story. The Ring of Fire is also the site of about 90% of the world's earthquakes. When tectonic plates grind against each other or suddenly slip after being locked in place, the energy released travels as seismic waves. Some of the most powerful earthquakes in recorded history have occurred along this ring. The 1960 Valdivia earthquake in Chile, the strongest ever measured, and the 2011 Tohoku earthquake in Japan, which triggered a devastating tsunami, both happened within this zone. These events remind us that the Ring of Fire is not just a poetic name. It represents a very real concentration of geological danger. The phrase itself gained popularity in the early 20th century as geologists began to better understand plate tectonics and map global seismic activity. While the science of plate tectonics was not fully developed until the mid-1900s, observers had long noticed that volcanoes and earthquakes seemed to cluster around the Pacific. The dramatic imagery of a ring encircling the ocean, combined with the fiery eruptions that periodically lit up the sky, made Ring of Fire a vivid and memorable term. It captures both the shape of the region and the elemental force at work there. Unlike more technical geological terms, it is easy to visualize and difficult to forget. Despite its destructive reputation, the Ring of Fire is also a source of creation and renewal. Volcanic eruptions build new land, forming islands like those in Hawaii and shaping mountainous coastlines. Volcanic soils are often incredibly fertile, supporting agriculture that feeds millions of people. Many countries along the Ring of Fire harness geothermal energy from underground heat to generate electricity. In this way, the same forces that cause earthquakes and eruptions also provide valuable resources and sustain life. The ring is not only about destruction, it is also about transformation. It is important to understand that the Ring of Fire is not a continuous wall of flames or a single crack in the earth. Instead, it is a series of connected tectonic boundaries involving multiple plates, including the Pacific Plate, the North American Plate, the Nazca Plate, and several others. Each segment behaves differently depending on the type of plate interaction. Some areas experience frequent small tremors, while others remain quiet for decades before unleashing massive quakes. This complexity makes predicting events extremely challenging, even with modern technology. So why is it called the Ring of Fire? Because it is a ring-shaped zone encircling the Pacific where Earth's internal heat escapes in spectacular and sometimes terrifying ways. The name reflects both geography and geology, a curved boundary, and the fiery power of volcanoes. It serves as a reminder that our planet is not static, but alive with motion beneath our feet. The continents drift, plates collide, and mountains rise from molten rock. The Ring of Fire is the visible edge of this hidden engine, a glowing outline of Earth's restless energy. And as long as tectonic plates continue to move, the Ring of Fire will remain one of the most dynamic and awe-inspiring features of our world. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.